Variety, celebrating more than 119 years covering the business of entertainment. This is the Award Circuit Podcast. The Daily Show star Ronny Chieng recently revealed that he had officially become a U.S. citizen. But he knows you're probably wondering, given the state of the nation, why now?
Anyone can apply for U.S. citizenship under Obama. That's easy. Yeah. Golden age, great, of course. And everybody wants to do it. Apply now. Apply now. Yep. If you really wanted it, do it now. Yeah, and that's what I did.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this episode of the award-winning Variety Award Circuit Podcast, we talk to Ronny Chieng about The Daily Show, his Netflix comedy special Love to Hate It, and more. But first, on the Award Circuit Roundtable, we dissect Trump's confusing Hollywood tariff plans, as well as the TV Academy's equally confusing Variety Talk and Variety Sketch categories. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. Stay close. Hey, everybody. It is the Roundtable here at the Award Circuit Podcast in another busy, insane week. A tariff pitch from Trump that, surprise, surprise, is a little unsettling and not thought out. There's category chaos and talk and scripted. There's all sorts of submission drama as the deadline comes this week for submissions. There's a lot of guest actors that we're seeing and a lot more that we're going to talk about on this edition of the Roundtable. So let's get to it. Clayton Davis, the awards guru.
Hi, nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. This week was awesome. Everything's going swimmingly.
And Emily Longaretta, like I said earlier in the day, thoughts and prayers for Emily Longaretta, who is about to undergo the most stressful sounding May I've ever heard in my lifetime.
It's a lot coming on, but you know what? This is the best time of the year, as they say. I feel that Christmas is the best time of the year, but this is second best.
Is it? Emily, who says that? Emily, who says that? I want to fact check that.
Emily, I do want to say, and I don't think this is going to help you at all, but I think your hair lately has looked fabulous.
You know what? That really does help a lot. I got a new curling iron, and it's changed my life. So I really should be a spokesperson because I've gotten so many compliments since I got a new curling iron.
This episode is brought to you by Hair Curler.
Yeah.
Curl your hair.
Right, not a brand, not a specific brand, just hair curler.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah, you notice I didn't say the brand because I was like, we're not getting paid. I'm not saying the name.
No, paid play, man. Let's go.
I bought the curling iron.
I am glad that it looked like you had a great time at Stagecoach a couple weeks ago. So at least you got to the party before the storm.
Exactly. I got some relaxing and country music jamming out of my system. I'm still not 100% recovered my voice-wise. I have some sort of throat virus happening, but you know what? Now I'm on meds. We're good to go.
That's good to go. And that was from all the Backstreet Boys, right?
Backstreet Boys, Garth Brooks, Luke Combs. I mean, of course I had to have a throat issue. I was screaming for days.
Well, gang, I mentioned it at the start of this podcast, and I think all the media, suddenly media cares about entertainment again, and they're calling all of us up to talk about these crazy tariffs. And our answer, I think my answer, and Clayton and Emily, yours is probably the same too, which is nobody knows. What is this thing? So Trump randomly tweeted over the weekend that he was going to instill a 100% tariff on Hollywood productions outside of the U.S., which no one knows what that means. No one knows how you could even police that.
I'm sorry. More specifically, he said tariff movies. No, he didn't say productions, because actually that would make a little more sense. He said tariff movies. And that was like, what are you tariffing?
So just movies about tariffs. So only the Star Wars franchise, basically, is what will be impacted by this.
Yeah.
But also not TV. Just strictly movies? I'm very confused by what this production means. What about streaming movies? I have a lot of questions.
Well, and now, and by the way, the fact that the fate of this industry is in Jon Voight's hands, that's what concerns me more than anything.
I'm so scared.
Apparently, Jon Voight's new proposal includes bringing back the FinCEN rules and trying to make it 1972 again through science or magic.
What are the FinCEN rules?
So that's where
you're dating yourself. Let's go, Mike. What is that?
I know this is where Grandpa Mike comes in with Professor Grandpa with a little TV history. But back in the day, networks couldn't own their shows. They had to buy shows from independent producers, which is a very different era, but that was also an era of 3 networks. This is a very different era now. And can you imagine going to Netflix and saying, you know what? You can't own any of your shows anymore. Here comes the tariff police.
I know, they're here, guys.
This is always listening, man.
This is, by the way, this is a foreshadowing. A couple years from now, they're coming for the journalists.
Oh, Mike, do not even say that.
I know. To jump ahead, though, so that wasn't the only absurd thing coming out of Trump this week. The fact that he now wants to reopen Alcatraz, and the understanding is the only reason why he now plans to reopen Alcatraz is because he was watching Escape from Alcatraz on his local PBS station over the weekend, and so he's texting, tweeting out, "Time to reopen Alcatraz,"
which is crazy because he defunded PBS.
Yeah, he's still watching it.
And by the way, I do like that it's brought this newfound appreciation for the movie The Rock, because that movie is amazing.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
Good Nicolas Cage era. No, it's just, this really goes back to the core question of what are you tariffing? At what point do you tariff? And if the goal is bring productions back to the US, and we're going to assume that in good faith, then if that is the case, then that's not the way to do it with tariffs.
No, and that's why none of this is in good faith. It's just a random cockamamie idea. The idea really that Gavin Newsom is trying to push forward and now trying to push the White House in that direction is some real tax incentives, billions of dollars in tax incentives, which honestly is probably the safer route to go and the route that will help the industry a lot more than suddenly putting tariffs on everything, because Hollywood doesn't need a trade war. Hollywood is struggling to get its product out there the way it used to dominate the global marketplace. It doesn't anymore. A trade war would decimate this industry.
Yeah.
I also don't know if a lot of Hollywood knows what a tariff is, because that's not a word that's ever been in our vocabulary. And in the process, it's okay, this is coming ahead of the Cannes Film Festival, which is next week, where people will buy movies, and by people, I mean studios. So if it's made over there, does that get tariff? What happens? There are co-productions on everything. There's never one logo that comes up at the beginning of a movie or TV show. No. What would that do for something like Adolescence? Adolescence is very British, but it's Netflix. Netflix is global. So it all gets pretty, and Netflix also isn't, doesn't have any distinction between what happens here in the US or abroad. Netflix is Netflix everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and really what's saving a lot of these production companies and these smaller networks are international co-productions with Australia, with Ireland, with Canada, of course, our friends to the north, soon to be the 51st state. So
stop.
Okay, let's bring it closer to home, and let's talk Emmys, because we're not going to solve the tariff issue this week. But
we're not?
I know. Go figure. And who knows? Next week it'll be some other insanity. So one step at a time. So we're heading to the end of Emmy submission deadlines. So there are some big questions that are still afoot. So Clayton, what's up with the studio?
So by the time you're listening to this, the submission deadline would have closed. The studio is in one of those unique positions that it has too many guest actors. And I'm pretty sure Apple would like if everyone did not submit. And a few would sit this one out, because vote splitting really could be a thing where, based on just kind of finding out through the grapevine, it sounds like Scorsese will definitely be on the ballot, which I think is just perfect.
Amazing.
In many ways. Cranston obviously will be on the ballot. I don't know for sure yet if Ron Howard will be, and a lot of people love the Ron Howard episode of the studio. It's incredible. But I heard that Anthony Mackie probably wouldn't submit it. I think he's equally as great in that same episode. So there is such a thing as putting up too much. I mean, SNL for the last year put up everybody, which the first time they had done that in quite some time. This year, they're planning to also submit every guest actor that was in this cycle. So is it too much? And it's a weird year, because The Bear is also still there, and The Bear has a lot of guests. as we know.
Wow. Yeah. From almost a year ago.
I forget about I'm like, who was it? I don't.
And remember, we're only voting on season 4. John Cena.
John Cena, that's right.
John Cena, John Bernthal, of course, is in it again.
Yeah.
Will Poulter. So yeah, it's going to be. There's a few questions there, and then there's obviously Abbott Elementary that had some great guests this year. Only 2 of the Sunny Philadelphia boys will be in there: Charlie Day and Rob McElhenney, and then I think Keith David is also submitting, but not Danny DeVito. Which he lived in a garden the whole episode. I don't know why he just wouldn't submit.
Yeah, I guess wants to save the submission fees, however much those are.
Well, if you're a TV Academy member, it's free for you.
Well,
right.
Yeah. So, guys, we can submit. We can submit this right now.
But time is worth everything. Time is precious. True. He's saving time from filling out.
It's like doing an expense report. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the categories are everything. I think guests in general this year could be a very hearty, heavy lift for all comedy and drama, because there are quite a few everywhere.
And then there's the ongoing question of, depending on how much your character is seen or not seen, like Pedro Pascal, right. Emily.
I mean, this is the big question is, should he go supporting or lead? And is it smart and strategic to go supporting if he is in this season, as we've seen, a supporting character now? Or is it risky to do that? Is he setting himself up to lose if he goes in supporting? Supporting is going to be stacked with White Lotus, with The Pit, I think it's safe to say those things without...
And Severance.
Severance, sorry. That was the other one, and Severance. Yeah. So it's hard, but at the same time, so will... that's the same group of shows that are going to be in lead minus the White Lotus. You're still going to have Adam Scott and Noah Wiley and likely Sterling K. Brown in the lead. So if Pedro goes there, can he beat all that? I don't know what the right move is, but the big question is also are we actually going by what he is? Because he's a supporting role. He's not the lead of that show this season.
Right.
I went and looked back. I was trying to see if there was a time that I can recall that Emmys called BS on a category submission for an actor. Obviously they do it for shows all the time, and I cannot find a time that Lorraine Bracco's jumped from lead to supporting all the time for Sopranos. Elizabeth oh my God, Hamid. I'm about to say
Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah. I want to say Olsen. I was like, that's not her name.
There's a lot of Debicki.
So many. Debicki, yeah.
Elizabeth Moss jumped from lead to supporting for Mad Men as well. So they don't really call BS on anything like that. So
strangely enough, I feel like in guest is where they've called BS the most. There have been a number of people who have suddenly been stricken from the record because of one reason or another. They were in too much,
which is probably why the rules changed.
Yeah, which are going to have to change again, because you have, the rules are in place to bar people from going into guests, but there's no rules that bar guests from going into main acting, which Caitlin Deaver is also debating right now what she'll do, because she qualifies for guests, but she can still go into supporting. This is just it's not inside baseball stuff, but everyone wants to kind of win an Emmy, and it's where do you win? And then from the studio side, the network side, HBO Max is we can win supporting kind of either way, but do we throw Pascal in lead and risk it? And they think Brian. It works for Brian Cox. He was in 2.5 episodes of this season. I say 2.5, and I'm using that term lightly. Is
that Succession effect more? Is that stronger than the Last of Us effect? I would say yes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and that's this is a unique situation too, because Pedro was the face of The Last of Us until recently. He was still in all the key art this season up until now. So it is sort of he was the lead until things happened on the show. If you haven't watched yet, things happen. So
he's been dead the whole time.
But this is also when everyone has to decide which episodes to submit. And in a funny way, it's much easier these days for most shows because you only have 6 or 8 episodes. It's kind of easy to pick which one you want to showcase. But a show like Abbott Elementary, you got 22. You really got to choose wisely. So
yeah, it matters for directing and writing for sure. The actors don't have to pick until they're actually nominated, but it does matter. Like, I guess that's an ongoing argument. We've spoken about this, I think, last year. Does episode choice matter anymore?
Right.
Well, I think we saw it mattered like when they chose the wrong episodes for Survivor, like a show that airs 2 seasons, and they chose a not as strong premiere. I think that could matter.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I feel like it really mattered, I remember, like Robin Wright for House of Cards. Like, she submitted her on the stairs. Like, wrong episode submission, like, and I feel like that was like an active mess up. But
a lot of these episodes haven't aired yet.
That's also it too. Like that, you run a risk.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, so this week's guest on the podcast is Ronny Chieng, who's one of my favorites, of course, from The Daily Show, but he also has a comedy special that he's up in, a contender for as well. Ronny is great, one of the several hosts now of The Daily Show under the new setup, with Jon Stewart coming in once a week. Everyone else is rotating and seems to be working. This was a real sort of strange experiment for them to, go back and recruit Jon to show up once a week and not really have a permanent host after Trevor Noah left. And it's given everyone on that show a chance to shine. And I think it's really allowed all of them to really explore their hosting chops, and they're all fantastic as a result. And it's made for a stronger crop of correspondents / hosts.
Can someone correct me if I'm wrong on this? Wasn't that initially the idea of what they were maybe going to do with Corden after Corden left? And then obviously they settled on Taylor, which obviously now didn't work out. But I felt like I heard that was going to be the original pitch, was to have rotating guests. It just seemed like Comedy Central took that idea and then applied it to Daily Show, which actually works out perfectly. It just seems like that was what people were aiming for. Maybe it was a way to save money also. You don't have to pay one person $1 gajillion.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the post-Corden plan, but that's what they did in between after Craig Ferguson left. Before Corden was available, they did several months of guest hosts as sort of like a stopgap. And that was kind of interesting. And I suppose that's something they could have continued, but you really do ultimately need to have a face of a show to market. And this is sort of, at least they still have Jon Stewart as a face along with these other hosts.
That's why Emily's here. Emily's our face.
Exactly.
She holds it together.
It's why
with that new curling iron, how could we not put her on camera? Let's go.
Well, Emily, because Clayton, you and I do not have the hair for this podcast. This is no. But
thanks, guys.
Speaking of Daily Show, then we have the scripted variety and talk series problem.
Yeah. This is
a conversation that we have every single year. That are we going to have until the end of time?
I think so. Until all the talk shows go away, which is, by the way, happening. We're slowly losing talk shows, so eventually there just won't even be a category anymore.
By the way, I'm tracking 13 talk shows, and 13 there are 2 that I kind of don't know, and I'm pretty sure may not submit. So that would bring us down to
which one are those?
Unimacho con Siéntese de Vida. I forgot the name of the episode. It's a Spanish show that submitted last year, and the other one was a Tubi show we got today, or we got it today. I don't remember. That's like what I. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we got time today. It's on Tubi. Don't know if it's submitted, but if we have 11, that means we get 3 nominees.
Okay.
That means the staples, Kimmel, Colbert, and Seth Meyers, somebody's or 2 could even miss, because then there's also the hot ones thing, because YouTube is putting every piece of their YouTube streaming body into making sure that we can get Sean Evans in for hot ones. And listen, talk shows are going through an evolution, so I'm down for that.
And it is a talk show. Let's be honest. Like, what he is doing is a talk show. It is, because it's on YouTube and because it has like the like fun game part of eating hot wings. it's sometimes hasn't been taken seriously, but he's very good at his job. He's very good at hosting it. It's extremely popular. They get a great traction. They get great guests. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be considered in the running.
Here's a question for you, Clayton. What's to stop any podcast that now has a visual? Because every podcast now has video, right? Except for us.
Yeah.
But we're changing that. We're about to have video too. But all these podcasts, which are interview shows for the most part, they're talk shows.
Yeah.
They all now are on YouTube. So you could conceivably,
but they're not produced by YouTube.
No, but you don't have to. You could just like submit it yourself and.
But Hot Ones isn't produced by YouTube. YouTube, this has been like I even had to get into nuances. YouTube is a distributing platform, but they don't like put any money into Hot Ones. That's just where he puts his episode. So they're just like the channel, quote unquote. But they
is it like First We Feast or what's
First We Feast is the company.
Produce it.
Yeah. So they're it's a classic producer / network thing. YouTube's the network. First We Feast is the producer. So
the to your question, it doesn't stop anyone from doing that. They have to petition because Sean Evans had a petition to get into talk. I think he petitioned one year and they said no, and he petitioned last year and they said yes. So now he's in and he's fine. I also I'd be remiss if I don't mention this. We have 1 1/3 women that are in talk series submission. I say 1 1/3 because we have very important people, which is from Dropout, which Mike Schneider doesn't know what that is. But it is
Dropout, quote unquote.
Yeah, which, by the way, I will say shouldn't be in talk. It should be in scripted variety, which is what makes it really frustrating. It's more of a scripted variety show. And then Have I Got News for You, the CNN show, submitted for Emmys.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's the same vein as...
and I'm okay with that. But
John Oliver. Wait. Have I Got News for You? Is that in talk or is that in scripted variety?
In talk.
Okay.
So
John Oliver is in scripted variety.
John Oliver's in scripted variety.
What's the difference there?
None. We're looking for none difference.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think literally, I think what the difference is that was said and that people cite is that John Oliver doesn't have guests.
Yeah.
I think that is the difference, which I think is a little silly, but but nonetheless. Moral of the story, merge the damn categories already. Please merge them. Like, I can't believe they didn't do it this year, but you have to do it next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to have to leave it there with that plea to merge the categories now. Please. In the meantime, we've got Ronny Chieng up next, talking talk and everything that they've done this year and what it's like, by the way, to just be on a show right now, given the world collapsing. It's fun and fascinating and depressing all the same time.
And Emily's going to do a tutorial on how to curl her hair for us now.
Especially for you
bonus. That's a bonus
episode.
Yeah.
FYC for your consideration. All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.
After the break, comedian and The Daily Show star Ronny Chieng. From Los Angeles, this is the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. And we're back. It's the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. I'm Michael Schneider. Ronny Chieng's comedy special, Love to Hate It, now available on Netflix, his third stand-up show for the streamer, is not overly political. Much of it centers on the deeply personal tale of what he and his wife experienced while trying to have a baby through the IVF process. The special has earned high marks from critics and was even named Best Stand-Up Special of the Year by the New York Times.
And I'm in the medical jerking off room by myself, and I couldn't go, okay? Sorry for not being a pervert who can just jerk off in hospitals on demand. I'm sorry for not being a sex offender who can just jerk off as people are dying above me and below me.
On this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast, Chieng shares some of his reasoning for becoming a U.S. citizen, as first revealed during a taping of The Daily Show, when Bill Murray surprised Chieng on stage to congratulate him. He also talks about the mood in the writer's room at The Daily Show under the Trump administration and how the show has so far escaped the kind of scrutiny that 60 Minutes is getting in the crosshairs of the Skydance acquisition of Paramount. Chieng also talks about his most recent stand-up special, Netflix's Ronny Chieng Love to Hate It, and his plans for the next one, and he explains what it means to have a Ronny Chieng Day in Honolulu. I began by asking him just what becoming a U.S. citizen right now was all about.
Granted, a weird time to do it.
I was thinking this, like, it would be like applying for a credit card at JCPenney.
Yeah.
Where, you could. But I don't know how much longer JCPenney is going to be around.
Sure. Well, I would argue applying for JCPenney now proves that you want it.
That you love JCPenney.
That you love JCPenney.
Yes.
Anyone can apply for U.S. citizenship under Obama. That's easy.
Yeah.
Golden age, great, of course. And everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Apply now.
Yeah.
Apply now.
Yeah.
If you really wanted it, do it now.
Yeah,
and that's what I did.
You So was that long in the making? Was this something that you just decided to do? What was your...
To be honest, it's kind of 30 years in the making, I guess, in the sense that I've been trying to come back to America since I left in 93 when I was 7 years old. I left around 92, 93. And I've always wanted to come back. I've been trying to come back to do stand-up comedy. And I finally got to come back in 2015, 10 years ago. And then citizenship 9 years later. But I've been trying to come back most of my life. I feel like I've been spending most of my life trying to get to America, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just weird. It's a weird time to do it because the things that attracted me to America were, it was Back to the Future. It was Seinfeld. It was Michael Jordan. It wasn't the Iraq War.
Right.
So it's weird to join. It's like you're joining this empire, this evil empire, but that's not why you joined it for. It just so happened the evil empire had some really nice TV shows, and they do stand-up comedy in the Death Star.
Yeah,
that's what I was attracted to.
Yeah, and to go back to that JCPenney analogy, it's because you believe in the promise of JCPenney, just like you believe in the promise of
America.
What this could be.
Sure.
So,
I mean, is Sears a better analogy, or is that over?
I think that's even worse.
That's even worse. Right? Okay, JCPenney, we'll go to it. Yeah. JCPenney is probably there.
Yeah, because Sears is over.
Sears is over.
JCPenney, at least there's still hope.
Yes.
I hope we're still in our JCPenney phase and not our Sears phase, because there's no coming back for Sears. JCPenney is still at the Glendale Galleria. Yes. I could still go to it right now, and it's sad. It's really depressing to go there.
But it could come back. It could come back.
But it could come back. You just need someone running it properly.
Yes.
And right now, I don't think whoever's running JCPenney is running it all that well.
No, not to decrease our chances of JCPenney sponsorship, but we're using JCPenney as an analogy here for something else.
Yes.
And in that analogy, no, that person is not running it very well. No.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, this, because you are a global traveler, you do things everywhere. This I assume makes it at least a little easier to go back and forth than maybe otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I've wanted to come to America, and I've been building in America. If you ask anybody in charge of my touring, they'll know I want to tour in America. I turn down offers to tour overseas all the time because I got no interest in it, because I came from there. I've been trying to come here. So when somebody offered to tour comes from somewhere else, I'm always like, well, I was trying to build it here in America. My point is, I've been trying to build here, and so it makes sense for me to get citizenship because, as you said, if I do leave the country, I know I can come back in to the stuff that I've been building here.
Yeah. Although I do hate to inform you, but apparently now they can deport citizens as well. So.
Sure. Well, let me just say, I tried my best to stay here. I did everything I could to stay here.
Yes. So.
And there was protections that weren't available. If you have a green card, you're not under. You know, they could revoke that anytime.
No, things are changing fast. So there's no guarantee for anything anymore, which is scary.
Sure.
So a lot of the questions I'm sure you're getting all the time in terms of what is it like working on The Daily Show at this point in history, and what would you say the mood is in the office in just producing the shows now versus a year ago?
Right. To be honest, I came in end of 2015, so this Trump thing is all I've known. this isn't that new, to be honest. It's been, ever since I came to America, his shadow has been looming or in charge. Yeah. So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Like,
except this is turbocharged.
This is turbocharged, but so the turbocharged is there, that factor is there, but like I said, it's been a long burn, man.
Yeah.
He's been talking shit for a long time now. We're used to him talking shit. He's been throwing chaos in the mix for a long time now. So in that sense, it doesn't feel like anything new in terms of coverage. Obviously the effectiveness of his efficacy is stronger now, undoubtedly. But in terms of what you're asking at the Daily Show, it's kind of like, we're in this cycle. It's almost like being in an emergency room. You kind of get numb to it, to be honest, because it's always a car wreck every day. It's like something new coming in, and it's something you have to comment on, which it seems outlandish, but at the same time, it's been outlandish for 9 years. So is it outlandish? That's the feeling.
Are you used to the new format now in terms of how much are you enjoying doing the hosting and sort of doing the rotation?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I had my doubts about that format for maybe just our sheer nostalgia or tradition, right? But the benefits of it are, me aside, my personal whatever wants aside, the benefits are, I feel like everyone doesn't burn out. We don't burn out. Everyone gets a chance to recharge a bit, Mr. Jon Stewart included.
And contractually, you have to call him Mr. Jon Stewart.
Mr. Jon Stewart, yes. Contractually, I have to call him the inventor of modern American satire, Jon Stewart. And you can tell from him. You can see the energy levels. He's excited to talk about stuff. He doesn't feel burnt out. I think that extends to the rest of us. You don't get a chance. We all kind of share the load a bit. The truth is that the show is mainly viewed in clip format now anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. So in that sense, it lends itself well to that format, the clip format.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's what people digest the show in terms of clips. So us being different hosts, it doesn't really isn't as jarring as it might you would think it might be.
Yeah. It's a weird world where half the time now I think I'm watching a clip of you and I'm not even listening to you. I'm just reading the subtitles because maybe I'm somewhere where I can't listen, so I'm just reading it. And how weird is that we've gotten to a point where people are watching TV but not even listening to it.
They're not even watching TV anymore, but they're watching it. Yes. They're watching TV without watching it. Yes, that's your point. It is weird. I think it's kind of some formats, I'm biased. It lends itself to some formats. The Daily Show, I think it lends itself very well. We're a daily show. We're kind of talking about current affairs, so you kind of have to digest it quick because it's a very in the moment thing. Whatever we're talking about is literally in the day, if not the hour. So it makes sense for us to make ourselves as digestible as possible. I think it's the death of civilization in other formats in terms of, our entire creative expression of the Western civilization is being cut down into clips. For me, that's I hate that. I think it's bad. I think it's lazy. I think it's. I think we are capable of so much more, and we do make so much more. Right, so now we're seeing Sinners on IMAX. I think next week Thunderbolts is coming on IMAX. Just going back to the cinema, and seeing something on the big screen that takes its time to build, that people put craft into. To me, that's what's exciting, and I hope that's coming back a little bit. I think we can feel that in our culture. We're kind of sick of the ubiquitous stuff, and we're looking for elevated art forms. I think cinema's come back a little bit. Prestige TV is coming back a little bit.
That's where the hope is. When you look at, especially this year, there've been so many great TV shows. From The Pit to what have you liked this year?
This year I like Interior Chinatown a lot. I like The Daily Show a lot. There's this special on Netflix called Love to Hate It. I really love that. I really love Severance.
All good stuff.
All good stuff. Yeah, Severance is great. I actually went back to catch up on TV because everything I just told you is something I genuinely feel myself. So I went to go back in time to catch up with work of film and television that I never got into, but are considered the greatest of all time. For example, The Leftovers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went back to go watch that. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is amazing. I missed it. It ended in 2017. And I missed the whole thing, and I just went to go back and watch it, and I was like, oh, this is great.
That's a treat. Yeah.
What a joy. How many of those hidden gems are in the exist on the internet somewhere that we can just go back and watch? So stuff like that.
Yeah, next pandemic, you go back and catch up on it.
Hey man, even the pandemic, I didn't catch up on this stuff. So if I didn't watch it during the pandemic, there's what hope is there?
Yeah,
you have to make a special effort to do it.
No, it's true. So you mentioned Interior Chinatown.
Yes.
Sad to see that not continuing.
Yes, very sad. That it meant a lot at the time when we did the project. And I think I was living in the moment and I was cherishing every minute of working on it. And I still feel like I wish I held it closer to my heart. Mm-hmm. And now that it was over and you thinking back on it, I was like, man, this might be the best thing I ever do. And I think it's a super ambitious project. I have a draft in my Ulysses writing app for weeks now. I keep drafting this kind of post about what it meant to me, and I just can't get the words because it meant so much. It's just for weeks of just trying to write this, how capture what it meant. And it was a very ambitious show. And I mean, back to my point about The Leftovers, we're less than a year out from, we're still in the season of Interior Chinatown, technically. I mean, culture moves so fast that it seems like it was 10 years ago, but it's less than a year ago.
Right.
That we released it. And so it's still there if you want to watch it. And
it's an ambitious show, like you said. I mean, it says a lot about the culture, about pop culture especially,
it's
and
very
about representation. There's so much going on in that show.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening in that show, for whatever flaws people might think are in it, but there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of great stuff in it, actually. So, I mean, my pitch would be, if you really live in a clip world where you have no time, watch the first episode and watch the last. Those two, and if those two attract you, then just watch the middle.
Go back and
watch the middle. Yeah. That's my olive branch to everybody. I get it. Everyone's busy. Just watch the first and the last one. A lot of man hours and woman hours were put into this TV show, and I think it shows on screen. It's a very cool concept.
And I assume you still hear from a lot of people about Love to Hate It and what it meant to you, since it was so personal. And I'm sure you're still getting a lot of people coming up to you and suddenly spilling their fertility stories and being very personal.
No, actually, to be honest, no. Yeah, maybe at the time, but I don't know. I get it occasionally. But no one's come out to me to tell me their fertility.
Okay, that's good. People are respectful. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But what is the latest in terms of working on your new?
Material? Just working on the next one. A lot of joy in the journey. A lot of misery as well, in terms of like, you come off of a good special and people hire you based off of that good special, but when your material isn't there yet because you're still working on it, because you're starting afresh.
Yeah.
So you're in that zone where you're like, I can't even follow myself right now because it isn't there yet. But then I'm experienced to know that it'll get there. So I'm just working on it.
Yeah. How long does it usually take for you to kind of come up with a good hour?
1 hour usually takes a year, maybe just over a year, and then it gets better as you tour it. So I'm just working out, trying to just say stuff I've never said before, which was, I feel like I hope I've done with every special. Try to evolve a bit as an artist and not just talk about the same stuff over and over again. So that's a challenge.
Any sense of what that will be this time? Is there kind of a theme, or are you still kind of like
still trying to figure it out?
Yeah.
But I'm very, very proud of the last hour. I think I put a lot into it, and I think it was well crafted. I think I learned a lot of lessons over the years on how to craft an hour of comedy and how to exhibit it on Netflix, which is a skill unto itself. Mm-hmm. Back to our point about clips, I think I put a lot of effort. We all did, the whole team did, into not just touring the hour, but filming it and editing it, and then editing the clips. That was the key change this special was, getting from the special, finishing editing the special, and then going on to edit the clips. That was the that was the thing that was my breakthrough this time.
Oh, is making sure you have like those bite-sized chunks.
And making sure I edited the clips with the editor who edited the special instead of finishing the special and then leaving it up to some intern to cut up the clips.
Right. What they think is the funniest part, or what they think the representation of the special is.
Right.
So.
And then the editor put a lot of craft into it to make sure it doesn't look as choppy as it does when someone's cutting clips. With no skill, they'll just kind of make it look very choppy. But when you have a world-class editor who wants things to look good, who edited the special, they know how to make it kind of look less jarring a little bit, because ultimately you're cutting air. When we say cut clips for stand-up, well, you're cutting a lot of air out of it, right? Just so that it becomes more shorter.
Yeah, you don't want the dead air, but then it sort of loses a little pacing.
Yes, it loses a lot. It loses a lot. But sometimes I resisted that for a long time out of artistic integrity. My compromise now is, okay, fuck, you guys want the clips? I'll do the clips, but I'm going to make sure they don't look like shit. And that's the compromise for people, watching comedy sitting on the toilet, just flicking through the,
so much on the toilet.
You'd be surprised at how influential the sitting on the toilet crowd is in pop culture now.
Yeah,
like you're trying to capture the attention of someone literally taking a dump on the toilet who's scrolling through the.
That's the battle. That's when you look at Instagram. Yeah. It's on the toilet.
That's the battle. The battle is to get the attention of someone taking a dump.
That's how I know what Ronny Chieng is up to. Yeah. I'm taking a dump and scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, every July 27 now, do you get to go back to Honolulu and just say it's my day? Is that like a one-time deal, or do you get to say, no, every year on July 27 is Ronny Chieng Day in Hawaii?
No,
That's
so
how it goes.
You get a day, but it's literally the day. So there's a year attached to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not like an annual thing?
No, it's not recurring. It's the one day. I actually have a day in California.
Do you?
That I didn't make a big deal about. So I didn't like have a publicist work on it or something.
When was this?
I can't remember the day, to be honest.
Oh.
But that, like, and California is like the GDP, like the fourth largest GDP in the world. And I have a day in California, and we were like, the state representative gave it to me in a frame that didn't even fit. It was like all janky, and they gave it to me backstage, and we didn't even make a big deal about it. But we did the one in Honolulu, and
it was a big deal.
Yeah, it became a big deal, which I'm happy about.
Hey,
but
no.
The mayor made me give a speech. I felt like I was running for governor or something. I had to talk about Hawaii, which came very easily to me because I actually do love Hawaii. But anyway, my point is that you get a day and that's it. And apparently, I think you get free parking.
I hope
for that day, but then it's not recurring.
Yeah.
So
and 20% off anything at Ala Moana.
Yeah. ABC store.
Only at the ABC store. Yeah. That's amazing. So you head back to New York, Daily Show. Yep. Hopefully figure out the Paramount Skydance deal.
I'm working on that deal right now. I'm trying to close it. It's been tough. The negotiations ongoing.
You guys have been kind of lucky. You're not in the crosshairs the way 60 Minutes is. You guys are kind of like over here, like, don't look at us.
I don't know what. I think that we're lucky that I think the president doesn't watch us, and I'm not complaining about that. He just, because if he's angry at 60 Minutes, he shouldn't be looking over here, because there's some pretty egregious stuff happening over on Comedy Central that I hope he doesn't know about.
Honestly, it's probably for the best. Let's not get him tuned in.
No. I'm happy. Let's just keep operating as the status quo. We continue to make satire that has no effect on reality whatsoever, and he leaves us be. And that's our truce, I guess.
All right, Ronny. Well, I feel like normally there's like 8 different things you're in at the same time. So I know that there's more to come. Is there anything you can tease that you're excited about?
So I'm in this Peacock series called Miniature Wife. Greg Mottola directing the pilot and some other episodes. Matthew McFadden, Elizabeth Banks, some other great people in it.
Yeah.
Zoe Lister. It's filming out of Toronto. It's a really fun show. It's very smart. It's shot beautifully. I'm really excited for it. I'm just a small role in it, but it's cool.
Well, it's called Miniature Wife, so it's all
everyone's small role in that.
No, that sounds great.
Cool.
Well, cool, man. Thanks. Well, congrats on everything.
No, thanks for speaking to me.
Yeah.
Always good to see you.
That's Ronny Chieng, star of the Netflix comedy special Ronny Chieng, Love to Hate It, as well as one of the correspondents/hosts of Comedy Central's The Daily Show. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit Podcast. Michael Schneider is the producer and Aaron Greenewald is the editor. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.